Okay, now I want you to meet Daniel. Some of you may remember Daniel from the bus. We interviewed him on the bus not that long ago. Good morning, Daniel. How are you?
Thank you, Polly, for having me on.
Of course, it's our pleasure to have you back because even though we haven't had you on CHD TV, we did have you on the bus. So, Daniel, you have a diagnosis of autism and you have siblings. Tell us about your family and the siblings with autism as well.
Happy to do that. So, Catherine, we also call her Kathy, and it's with a C. She was born in 1986. She's high functioning Asperger's on the autism spectrum. And as an autistic child, she struggled with noise sensitivity and adherence to routine. Today, she struggles with being in social settings, building and keeping relationships, basic day to day tasks, prioritizing in employment. She was born the exact same year Ronald Reagan signed the Childhood Vaccine Injury Act into law that took away liability from vaccine manufacturers. And from there, the vaccine schedule doubled and tripled, and autism rates among children skyrocketed. And I was born in 1988. I'm high functioning on the autism spectrum. In my childhood, I was more on the moderate side. When I was very young, I struggled with echolea, hand flapping, adherence to routine, adjusting to changes from learned routine, social settings, relationship building, differentiating between fantasy and reality. I needed a paraprofessional sitting next to me in a classroom to help me focus and learn. Um, I started out with special ed classes before that, but they moved me in second grade. I had difficulty listening to the teacher, fidgeting nonstop, prone to meltdowns and outbursts, very disruptive to other children trying to learn. And this was really throughout my childhood, but my worst year was my third grade year. And I was the only child like this in my class. I never understood exactly why or how I was different. Um, I gained more self awareness later as I realized how much I was missing out in regards to ambitions, opportunities, and relationships. And relationships and our dreams were very important to my sister and myself. And I want to talk about my two brothers, Joshua and Jeremy, who are more severe.
Yes,
Joshua
please,
was
Daniel.
Joshua was born in 1990. He's moderate to severe. He lost his speech and regained it when he was very young. Um, he demonstrates a limited capacity for logical reasoning and struggles to differentiate between fantasy and reality. It significantly impacts his day-to-day functioning. His condition affects his ability perform to form relationships, live independently, or engage in tasks like driving and maintaining employment. He will require ongoing support to manage his daily life for the rest of his life. And I want to talk about my brother Jeremy. He was born in 1991. He is extremely severe on the autism spectrum. He cannot talk, bites his own arms every single day. He used to escape and run away from his caretakers and smear feces on walls and furniture. He does not do these things anymore, but he still cannot speak, and he's subject to meltdowns and fits of anger. And I want to talk about a significant incident. But before I do, I want to talk about Dr. Mark Geyer. He um, he had all four of us siblings go through genetic testing. We had blood work and other tests done to determine if there was any genetic link to autism. He tested us for things like Fragile X, Prader-Willi, Rett syndrome, celiac disease, anything that is misdiagnosed or mimics autism on the genetic side. The results for that were all negative. Then he had us tested for heavy metal toxicity. All four of us, especially Joshua and Jeremy, were off the charts in heavy metal toxicity. Dr. Geyer asked mom other questions to determine the sources of heavy metal exposure, such as silver fillings. None of us have anything like that. We never had a cavity up to that point. And Dr. Geyer informed mom that vaccines were indeed the culprit. And it's easy to see why they're the culprit. Most people who insist that vaccines do not damage your immune system, they won't even take the simple step to visit the CDC website, which has vaccine package inserts and their ingredients available to the public. Just pick any vaccine and read the ingredients. It is shocking what what they are made with that they inject into your body.
Wow. And Daniel, you speak so well on this, and you're speaking up, aren't you, not on behalf of your brothers as well? You're making this your lifelong mission to be this advocate for them and for others with autism as well, or well, vaccine injury. Let's be truthful on that.
Absolutely.
And so one of the things you've done, and you did speak to us on the bus about this, is you've written an amazing book, Chelsea's New Beginning. Talk to us about that.
Okay. So I always wanted to write my own stories into books. I love animals. I love dogs. I was especially inspired by my childhood dog, Chelsea, and the dog books and movies I grew up reading and watching. I wanted to share Chelsea's warmth, kindness, and sense of fun with young readers everywhere. The real Chelsea was such a special dog. I believe the circumstances surrounding us did not give her life justice. So one of the reasons I'm um, writing the Chelsea the Golden Retriever book series is to give her the full life she deserved, even if it's totally fictionalized, and it's going to be a very long series. Chelsea is also a way of exploring stories about helping people with autism, like my brother Jeremy. This is a theme that will be progressed more and more as more books in the series are released. And speaking of my family's experiences, I'm writing a new book series. I am writing a new book series centered around children with autism. This is a way to empower children with autism that read the books and also to help educate their parents and other children about how neurodivergent children operate, experience, and process the world differently, and how they overcome struggles. This new series will be called Nathan's Universe, and it's going to be an invaluable tool to help people understand neurodivergent children and give these very same people an outlet to feel that they are understood. I am currently working on getting these new books written, edited, and later Chelsea books published as soon as possible.
And Daniel, where can people find out more about the books and about your life? Is it danielkeithaustin.com?
Yes, they can follow me at my website, danielkeithaustin.com. I have a fundraiser page on my website right now to help raise funds to publish the Chelsea books. You can buy Chelsea's New Beginning now on Amazon. I really hope everyone watching will stay tuned for the release of the Nathan's Universe books. I also have a Rumble channel. You can find me, Daniel Keith Austin, author, on Rumble. You can follow Chelsea the Golden Retriever on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. You can invite me to speak at your events. You can share my story with other people who have similar platforms as CHD, so they can invite me to tell my story with them. But most importantly, they can follow the release of my books and share the Chelsea and Nathan stories with others. Financial support is critical in spreading this message and helping families fight back against Big Pharma.
Yes, Daniel. So you were saying earlier on that when you were younger, you were hand flapping, doing all those sort of traits that are so common, if you like, in
Mhm.
young kids. So there may be parents watching right now, because I remember that time, with Billy. It's a really hard struggle as a mom because you can't help the child. The child doesn't seem to be connecting with you. They were fine before the vaccine, had the vaccines, and then suddenly you feel like you've lost this child. Do you have any advice for those mums who are struggling, and also for people with autism? I keep saying autism, but actually, I really wish we didn't call it that because it really is vaccine injury. So, any advice? Because do you remember being like that, hand flapping and not being able to speak and get
Yes,
frustrated?
I do remember that, and that's actually going to be part of Nathan's character in the Nathan's Universe books. He's going to stem a certain way and it's going to help bridge his imagination to other worlds, other universes, so to speak. And that's similar to how I did things when I was a kid, and I remember being told that what I was doing was weird, or that I would be considered a freak. And I just wanted to be lost in my own little world, and I didn't realize how much it was costing me, how much I was missing out on until uh, probably my middle school or high school years, and I just gained more self-awareness. Um, I'd really like to talk about uh, an incident that occurred with my youngest brother, Jeremy, and this plays into the advice I have for parents. What I said earlier about going to the CDC website, they have those ingredients up there, and you really need to just go through that list and ask yourself, does this belong in a human body? Um, Jeremy was already nonverbal and self-injurious at 13 years old when his doctor required another shot for school in 2005. His doctor insisted to my mom that the shot was quote totally mercury free and thimerosal free. Within days of that shot, Jeremy's behavior magnified 100 times and he turned his aggression against us. He also started having seizures for the first time in his life. They were grand mal seizures happening on at least a weekly basis and often multiple times in one day. My mom went back to that doctor who told her that, quote, there may have been traces of mercury and thimerosal in the vaccine. There is no regulation of how much is in his trace, and I am convinced that Jeremy got a full dose of thimerosal, end quote. This is what this doctor told our family before and after getting the shot. This is why people need to know what happened to us and understand why thimerosal is being banned from vaccines. It also needs to be known that thimerosal was a primary reason for the widespread of autism and other forms of illness and even death.
Daniel, you speak so well on this subject.
Thank you.
All right, well, look, Daniel, so your final bit of advice to the young mum out there who is being told by her pediatrician that vaccines are safe and effective, what do you say to her?
I would say really listen to the stories out there. There are millions of them. Um, people are parents are saying that their children are regressing in their development when they started out normal, which is how it happened with us. Others are saying that they're exhibiting behavioral problems, health problems, um, developmental regress. Um, Young toddlers, even infants, are dying from the shot, and you can't sue if something happens to your child. Um, I really want to, I actually really want to take a minute and ask my viewers, your viewers, this simple question. If your child receives their vaccines and they regress in their development, develop health issues, physical and mental, exhibit behavioral struggles, who do you think has to bear that burden? Answer, it's not the doctor.
Daniel, you're incredible. I'm so proud of you, as I'm sure your mother must be absolutely proud of you. And I know our viewers are too. So, danielkeithaustin.com. And do come back and update us on how you're getting on with these books. I'm sure people will donate if they can to help you get that underway. And much love to all of your family. You really are an inspirational, Daniel. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Paul.